Two people stand at the same fork in the road. One sees two paths, the other sees costs, benefits, incentives, and probabilities. The first person chooses based on emotion. The second person chooses based on economic thinking. 10 years later, one is wealthy. The other is wondering what happened. The difference isn't intelligence, luck, or privilege. It's a framework, a way of thinking that turns every decision into a calculated advantage. Warren Buffett uses it. Ray Dalio uses it. Every billionaire investor uses it. It's called economic thinking, and it's shockingly simple. Let me show you the framework the rich use to make every decision, the mental model that turns ordinary choices into wealth-building opportunities. Because once you understand how economists think, you'll never see the world the same way again. Economic thinking isn't about money, it's about decision-making. Economists use a framework, 5 core principles that guide every choice. These aren't theoretical ideas, they're practical tools wealthy people use daily, often without even realizing it. The roots go back to Adam Smith in 1776 in The Wealth of Nations, where he asked, "Why do people trade?" His answer was simple: self-interest, guided by rational calculation. The butcher doesn't give you meat because he loves you. He does it because it benefits him. You pay him. He profits. Both sides win. This is the foundation of economic thinking. Every decision is a trade, and every trade should benefit both sides. But Smith discovered something deeper. People who think economically see things others miss. They see opportunity cost. The true cost of any decision isn't what you pay, it's what you give up. They see incentives. People respond to rewards and punishments predictably. And if you understand the incentives, you understand the outcome. They see marginal thinking. Every decision is about the next unit, not the average or total. They see comparative advantage. You don't need to be the best at everything, only better at one thing than your alternatives. And they see long-term compounding. Small advantages multiplied over time become massive wealth. Opportunity cost, incentives, marginal thinking, comparative advantage, compounding. This is the framework. And here's what most people miss. The rich don't just know these principles, they use them automatically. Every decision runs through this filter. Should I take this job? Opportunity cost. What am I giving up? Should I invest here? Marginal return. What does the next dollar earn? Should I delegate this task? Comparative advantage. Is this the best use of my time? Should I wait or act now? Compounding. How does time affect the outcome? This framework turns every choice into an optimization problem, and optimization is how wealth is built. Let me show you how each principle works. Principle 1, opportunity cost. Every decision has a hidden price, what you give up. You have $10,000, you can spend it or invest it. Most people think, it costs $10,000 to buy this. An economist thinks, it costs $10,000 plus whatever that money would have earned, invested. If that $10,000 would grow to $100,000 in 20 years, the real cost of spending it today is $100,000. This is why the rich calculate opportunity cost constantly. Buffett famously doesn't buy expensive things because he compares the cost to what that money would become. A $50,000 luxury car doesn't cost him $50,000. It costs him hundreds of thousands at his compound rate of return. Every purchase is compared to its alternative, and the alternative is almost always investing. Principle 2, incentives. People respond to incentives, predictably and reliably. If you want to understand any system, ask, what are the incentives? Corporations maximize profit because that's the incentive structure. Politicians make popular decisions because elections reward popularity. Employees do what gets them promoted because promotions are the incentive. The rich design systems where the incentives align with their goals. Want someone to do something? Make it profitable for them. Want to avoid something? Make it costly. This is why wealthy people structure deals carefully. Joint ventures where both sides profit, compensation tied to performance, contracts with penalties for failure. As Charlie Munger said, show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. Principle 3. Marginal thinking. Decisions aren't about averages, they're about the next unit. Should a factory produce one more unit? Only if marginal revenue exceeds marginal cost. Should you work an extra hour? Only if that hour is worth more than your next best option. Most people think in totals. Economists think in increments. Example, you paid $100 for a gym membership. Whether you go today has nothing to do with the $100. That cost is gone. The only question is whether the next hour is worth the workout. The rich apply this everywhere. Should I invest more in this business? Depends on what the next dollar returns. Should I continue this project? Depends on whether the next hour moves me forward. Sunk costs don't matter. The margin does. Principle 4. Comparative Advantage. You don't need to be the best at everything. You just need to focus on what gives you the highest return on your time. A lawyer who bills $500 per hour may clean better than anyone she could hire, but cleaning her house costs her $500 in lost earnings. Hire a cleaner for $30 per hour and focus on what you do best. Successful people delegate tasks not because they can't do them, but because their time is better used elsewhere. Every hour has an opportunity cost. Ask, is this the best use of my time? Or can I buy this cheaper than I can earn? Principle 5. Compounding. Small differences multiplied over time become massive. $10,000 at 5% becomes $16,000 in 10 years. At 15%, it becomes $40,000. That's exponential growth. Buffett's wealth wasn't built quickly. It was built steadily over decades. Most of his net worth came after age 65. Compounding applies to money, skills, relationships, and reputation. The rich think in decades, not days. They ask, what does this become in 10 years? Now let me show you what happens when you don't think economically. Most decisions are emotional. Buy a new car because it feels good. Take a job because it's comfortable. Start a business because you're passionate, not because there's demand. Emotional decision-making ignores opportunity cost, incentives, marginal thinking, comparative advantage, and compounding. The result is predictable: financial struggle. Take two college graduates with the same degree, debt, and salary. Graduate A takes a $60,000 job in an expensive city and saves $10,000 a year. Graduate B takes a $55,000 job in a cheaper city and saves $20,000 a year. At 8% returns, after 10 years, Graduate A has about $156,000, while Graduate B has about $312,000. After 20 years, A has $493,000. B has $986,000. After 30 years, A has $1.2 million. B has $2.4 million. The difference is economic thinking. Graduate B understood opportunity cost, marginal thinking, and compounding. Living in a cheaper city created millions in value over time. The moment you start thinking economically, everything changes. You stop saying, I can afford it, and start saying, is this the best use of my money? You stop making emotional choices and start optimizing. You stop thinking about sunk costs and start thinking about marginal returns. You stop doing everything yourself and start asking if it's worth your time. You stop delaying investments and start compounding early. Apply this framework consistently and everything improves. You see opportunities everywhere. You stop wasting time on low-value tasks. You make better deals because you understand incentives. You build real wealth because you focus on long-term compounding, and you become anti-fragile, able to benefit from uncertainty instead of being crushed by it. Here's the truth. Economic thinking isn't natural. Humans evolved for immediate survival, not long-term optimization. But the framework is simple. Calculate opportunity cost. Identify incentives. Think at the margin. Use comparative advantage. Compound relentlessly. Ask these 5 questions before every purchase, every investment, every business decision, every plan. The rich use this framework automatically. Now you have it. The question is, will you use it? If this framework changed how you see decisions, subscribe to the Wealth Forum. We break down the mental models, frameworks, and systems the wealthy use to build and protect wealth. Comment below which principle you'll use first: opportunity cost, incentives, marginal thinking, comparative advantage, or compounding. Because the first step to thinking like an economist is choosing one principle and applying it obsessively. The second step is making it automatic. The third step is watching your decisions transform from emotional to economic, from random to systematic, from poor to wealthy. This is the Wealth Forum: understanding systems, building frameworks, creating wealth.